Hello friends, welcome back to our channel DS Tech Mirror. This is part 5 of our Power Apps Component Framework series. In today's video, I will cover life cycle of PCF control. In my last video, I covered the solution structure of the PCF project. This is the PCF project which we have created in my last video, and over there I covered the entire solution structure. In today's video I covered the life cycle of this PCF control. That means what all the methods which are by default present when we create this PCF control. So these are the methods which are already present, and we will see the functionality, and I will cover what is the need of all these methods, and together all these methods create the life cycle of the PCF control. So let's start with this init method. In my PPT, what I have done, I have listed out all the methods and some parameters and the definition about them. But today we will see everything in the form of hands-on, and later on I will cover to this PPTs, or side by side we will cover both hands-on as well as PPT. So overall, when we create our any PCF project, by default we will get this method: init method, update view method, get output method, and destroy method. And all these four methods together make this a life cycle of a PCF project. So I will start with this init method. So if you are from the development background, you must be aware about the init method, because this is part of mostly of all the frameworks. In init method, this will get initialized when the control will be loaded in the browser. So whatever the initialization code we need, we will write in this method. Another special thing about PCF init method is it gives us four parameters: context, notify output change, state, and container. So what is the context? So this will give us the context of the PCF control. It contains all the information about how the component is configured, what all parameters are attached to this particular component. So everything, all the information related to our control will be present in this context parameter. So if I have to show you, I will type over here context and then dot. You could see all these properties are attached to this context object. This would be the most frequently used object if you're creating any PCF control. If I have to give you an example, if I want to access the property, for example, I have the property related to this PCF. Over here, this property name is sample property in my control manifest. I covered in my last video what is property. So if I want to access this property, what I can do, I can type context dot parameter dot sample property, and then I will get all the information about my properties: error, formatted, raw will give me the value, security, and other things. So this is the use of this context parameter. Then I have notify output change. So what this method will do, notify output change, it will call my method get output. So wherever I will type notify output change, my get output method will get triggered, and what this get output method will do, we will see. For now, we will keep it simple. Notify output change will call my get output method. Context will give me the context of the PCF control. Then I have state. So state I have not used so far very frequently, but as per the definition, what it will do, it will give me the data from the previous page load if we have saved it explicitly through set control state method. So mostly I have not used it, but in case, what I will do, I will try to cover it in any of the demo which I am which I have planned for the future videos. So for now, even you can ignore it. Our three most important parameters are going to be context, container, and notify output change. So what is this container? So by default, what PCF framework is doing, this is giving us top level div parent element. By default, what it is doing, it is giving us one div element, container, and any control we are going to create, we are going to append to this div element. So now what I will do, let me will work with this init method and we'll see the use of all this. Now another thing is, if you will notice, we do not have access to these parameters other than context. Context is present in this update view as well, but other than notify output change, state, and container, they are not present in any of the method outside this init. So to use in our code, after the initialization part, what we have to do, we have to store them. For that, what I will do, I will create certain variables over here. In the interest of the time, I have saved some code over here and I will copy paste it from here, but I will explain you each and everything. Now what I will do, let me copy some class members over here, and what I have done, So these are the properties which I have created. For now I will remove this property because in as we will code, so I'm going to add that because I want to add only the relevant code right now so that you do not get confused. So what I have done, I need these three parameters to save. So I have created these three properties inside my class, my first PCF. And what is this? Private underscore context. And how I came to know that this is the type of my context from this particular parameter as well. I checked this is the type and I just copy pasted over here, and at the top I imported this I input and I output. Then underscore container, it is a over here it is the HTML div element, but what I am going to do, I am going to create one input element and I am going to append my input element to this div element. So this underscore container I have created, and underscore notify output change, again this is a method, so same type I have created over here. Now what I will do, I will just save all these values over here. I will say this dot underscore context is equal to context, this dot underscore notify output changed is equal to notify output changed. And what I have to do, container I have, so container dot append child, and I will say I want to append my underscore container, which is, or just to keep it simple, I will name it as underscore input element over here, underscore my input element, and this dot my input element. So these are all the things which we have done. Now also to understand the flow and life cycle, I will put one alert. We will see the sequence in which all these methods will get invoked. I'll say init, and similarly I will put the alert in all these methods just to understand the life cycle. Then update view, I'll say update view get output, and destroy will only get invoked when we close our browser, so I will not going to add this any alert over there. Get output, and then we have this method called destroy. So now to test this, what there is one command called npm start. What I will do, I will run that command and this will open my code in a local harness or local host. So I will put a separate video how to debug and deploy over there. I will in detail I will cover how you can debug your code over here. Just to understand, you can see there's a command called npm start watch, and this will open it in a test harness. Again, another important thing which I will do, I will create one slide over here at the top, new slide, and over here what we will do, we will copy all our commands, or we will all the commands which are frequently used, I am going to put it over here, so that by the end of this particular tutorial we will have all the commands which we have used at one place. So my plan is, even the smallest command or simplest command which I will use, I will make an entry over here. I have just before this I have just used one command to create the PCF project, and the command was pack PCF init hyphen namespace. You can give the name, then hyphen name of the control, and then hyphen template I have selected as field. Second command which I have used today is npm start watch, and then I will keep on updating this slide. So this is another practice which you will follow in this particular tutorial. Let's see, it will take some time. So it has already opened this sandbox over here in my browser, and we can see I'm getting one error loading control. We will see what is the error, but even if I refresh the browser, I'm getting this method called invoked init, and none of the other methods are getting loaded, and there's this error called, let's see what is the error, failed to execute append child parameter 1. So there's some issue over here with my append child, we will see. So the error is we have just initialized this input element of type HTML input element. Over here we have not created it, so inside this init I will create this dot underscore my input element is equal to document dot create element, and over here I will say input, and now I think it should work. There's few attributes I will supply to this, my input element dot id, and I will say input PCF or PCF input, anything. I will say PCF input, so it will has the id also. It is a property, so I will assign it. So this is also done. Now I have created one element, and now let's see if it is working. And you could see this is the input element which I have got, and we just saw that update view also got triggered. So let's see, I will refresh it again. I got init, then update view, and then my component got loaded. So this is one of the life cycle you can understand. Update view also gets called on page load. Now if I change anything over here, if I type hello world, anything getting changed, anything getting invoked? No. But there's one interesting thing. Let's change some properties. So this is the property bag. So this is the property which we have created. These are certain properties which we by default we get. Form factor I will cover, like what does this mean. Basically it means you are loading this control in web, tablet, phone or other thing. Let's change the type and you see update view. So anything I'm changing over here, update view is getting called again and again. If I'll say w, again it will get changed. So if I go to my slide again, over here I have mentioned this update view. It is a required method. This will get invoked when any value in the component property bag will change. Whenever there is any change in property, this will get called. So this now perfectly makes sense for us. Anything I will change in the property bag, that means on the right side, on the right pane in the property, whenever there is a change, my update view will get called. Whenever my component will load, it will start with init method. So these two methods now we have covered. So anything if I want to do once my property is getting updated, I will execute in my inside my update view. Inside my init, I will initialize all these parameters just to I can use it at a later point in time, and to my append child and other things I can do. So now again I will go back to my slide and I will try to cover all these parameters. Context is done, container is done, notify output change is also done, state is done. So all these things I have covered along with the init method. Update view method I have covered. Now the only method which is remaining in this part of lifecycle is get output. And we observe that this alert did not invoke when I refresh my page. So how this method will get invoked and what is the use of this method? So the actual use is, you could see over here, it is called by the framework prior to a control receiving new data. So this input box or this input control is bound, it will get bound to any of the field in my model driven app, because we will be deploying this control to my model driven app. Let's say I have this one field in my model driven app, employee name, and I instead of the default control over there, I deploy this my PCF control. So to set the value or to return the value from this control to my model driven app, I need to get the output, and to get the output I will use this method called get output. And how it will get invoked? Through notify output change method. And how I can get that notify output change? So let's see. So for example, I updated the value over here and I want to send the response to the PCF that the value inside this input control got updated. How I can do that? First of all, I need to handle this change event whenever the value gets changed. For that, what I will do, I will use this on change property which is there with this input control. So what I'll do, this dot, and yes, so I'll say this dot underscore my input element dot add event listener. I will add one event listener, and event listener code. Now what I'll do, I'll copy it from here. I want to add this event listener, and this is the event listener which I will be adding. Now what I'm saying is, I have added one event listener to my input element. Event is change, and this is the method which should get called, and I will create this method, and over here I have this method with me. I will explain you later on what all is present inside this method. So right now what we will focus is, we will focus on only one thing. I will remove this also, and I will comment everything for now. JS. Now let's see when this on change will get triggered. So what I have done, I have appended an event listener called change with my input element, and whenever my input element gets changed, this method should get invoked, and from here I will invoke this notify output change. So let me do this also. What I am saying is whenever there is a change, notify my get output method. So now you will see this method will get invoked. Let's go back. And another important thing is once you will run this npm start wash, you need not to do anything. Whenever you will press Ctrl save, automatically this will build and reload the browser with the updated code. Again, as I said, I will create a separate video, and over there I will explain each and everything in detail. Let me just reload it again. Ctrl F5, init, update view, then nothing gets called. Fine. Now I will change type hello world, and the moment I will move my mouse control from outside this input element, on change gets triggered because I have changed the value. On change, in on change I have called this dot underscore notify output change. This will call my get output method, get output, and you will get the output from this particular method. Now how to return the output to the control, because you have got the output now, you have called this method, but still you have to supply this value hello world new value to this PCF, or to the your app. How you will do that? For that, what I will do, first I will capture this value. For that, what I have to do, I will initialize one more property over here. From outside my class I will say private underscore latest value, and this will be of type string. Then inside on change method I will capture this value. This is how I'm going to do is this dot underscore latest value, this dot underscore latest value, and we'll see document dot get element by id. I have given this id. Let me just copy paste in order to avoid any typo mistake. Dot value, and if I do not put this code of typecasting HTML input element, you will get one error. Otherwise this code was simple, but in TypeScript you will get this error that property value does not exist on HTML element. So you have to explicitly typecast it as HTML input element. And the moment you will do this, it will recognize it and it will start working. See, now this is working fine. Now I've got this value over here, and now inside this update view I will not inside update view, inside this get output I will return this value. And how I will do this, because now another thing which I have covered in my last video, this is sample property, and what is the type? Bound. That means it is connected to my control. So I have to give the value again back to this property, because this is connected to my field in my model driven app or wherever we will deploy. So I'll say sample property of type, and now add this dot underscore latest value. Now this will get it, and the moment you will do get output, you will update it again. Update view will get called, and over here we will see, we will come back. Just one more thing was left. So init update view, nothing. Then I will say update input element, mouse out, on change. In on change, after this what will happen, we will save this value in underscore latest value, get output. We call this method. Now we are returning it to our this property called sample property bound. So over here you will see the change. This is data input, and you will get one more property called data output. As of now you have not seen any change over here, but you will see it. For that, what I will do is inside this update view, let's do one thing now. Alert, let's see the value. What is the value is with my property now. So for that, what I will do, context dot parameter dot sample property dot, and I'll say what is inside this raw string property component framework. I'll use this raw, and let's see what will happen. So now let's see init update view. In the update view, now I have added this code to print the property value. So this is the value which is pre-exist. See, Now we'll change updated value. This is input box. On change, get output, update view. First of all, old property, and then you will update view. Again it will get called, and this is the updated value, and you could see this now, sample property updated value. So this is the updated value and get updated over here also. If even now, if you again load this init update view, property value updated value, then I'll say new value, on change. After on change, we are calling get output. Get output will send back the control to update view, updated value. This is the old value and then new value. So twice it will get invoked. So this is the complete life cycle of your PCF project. So what will happen? Initially init view will get called, then update view will get called. Nothing else will happen. But if you have, if you want to send the output back to your control, so what you will do? You see, right now I use this on-chain method, but you can have your own way how you want to capture the value from your control. So in my case, on change, I have captured this value, and then from here I have called this notify output change, which will notify my framework that, see, it is called by the framework prior to a control receiving new data. So this will get called, it sends back the value. This will get called update view, and then again it will get called with a new value. So this is the complete life cycle of this PCF project. In today's video, what I have done, I have given you a brief flavor how you are going to add code in your PCF project, because now what I will do, I will keep on adding code to the same project. Gradually we will prepare ourselves for the advanced demo, which I'm going to start after 2 or maybe after 3 more videos. I'm going to start with the advanced level demo, but I will make sure that you will understand each and everything, because I'm going to start from scratch. So let's before closing the video, I will give you a quick recap with all the understanding. So what is the life cycle of your PCF project? You have got 4 methods. Initially we have got this init method, which will get called at the time of initialization. There are 4 parameters. Context will give me the context. Notify output change will call the get output. Container, again by default we are getting this parent element. To this, anything we will create as part of this control, we will append it to this container. Then we have this update view, which will get called whenever there is any change in this property bag. Get output, it will get called by the framework before a control receive any new data to send back the data. Over here also there is one more explanation. An object based on nomenclature defined in manifest, expecting objects for property marked as bound on output. So you can only use property which are bound or output type. So we have used this property called bound, sample property, and we have passed our value to this. This is the latest value, and flow would be init update view if in case you are calling get output, and after get output there is a call to the update view. And at last you can call the destroy method. You can remove, for example, if I want to, I can say this dot my input element dot remove event listener. If I want to remove the event listener, just like I have add event listener, let me see what is present. There it is, remove event listener, and over here I can remove this event listener from my code. I would say input on change, and then what is this dot on change method, or let me see the method name, this dot on change. So this will get removed, called when the control is to be removed from the dormitory. Control should use this call for cleanup activity. We will use cancelling any pending remote calls, removing listeners. Just to have a better CPU utilization and other things, you should utilize this. So guys, in my next video I am going to cover how we can do the development with this PCF framework using React and Fluent UI controls. Now in my next video I am going to install React and Fluent UI control, and then I will cover the basics of React. I will implement the same code using React functional components, and then I will have one more video for debug and deployment, and then I will start with the demo. So this is my plan. So guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel to get notification for our upcoming videos. You can follow me on Twitter to get all the updates from the Office 365 world. Till our next video, much love, keep learning. Thank you.